our panelists. So we will call back on stage our two presenters and speakers for today, Mr. Martin Nichols and Mr. Martin Aguilar. And we will have to flash the question here first from Miss Jesh Salvatierra. For Sir Martin Aguilar, what training programs are in place in the country to ensure that hospitality staff are within the international hospitality, health, and safety standard? Mr. Aguilar?
Okay, thank you very much, Jesh, for that question. Actually, in the ASEAN Common Competency Standards for tourism professionals, we do have several safety trainings, right? So it just really depends on the target participants. Like, for example, as we design training programs for our clients, we look at the participants, right? So who are going to be the attendees? What is expected, what is the output or the objective of the training, and so those are usually considered, of course, when you run the program. But yes, in terms of the ASEAN standards, we do have those in place. Thank you, Jesh.
All right. Thank you so much, Jesh Salvatierra. I got everybody excited to travel, Mr. Aguilar, because with all the ideas going global, huh? Miss Thelma Caholo, her question is for Sir Martin Aguilar again. If one is an ASEAN recognized professional, is it safe to you that he or she is already globally competitive? Thanks. Mr. Aguilar?
Thank you, Thelma, for that question. I feel that that is a trick question because it is a yes and a no, right? Yes, in a sense that, say, for example, when you say ASEAN recognized professional, basically the within the ASEAN region, right? There is an agreement. It's called the Mutual Recognition Arrangement on Tourism Professionals, or the MRATP, right? So within the 10 countries of the ASEAN region, they had an understanding that, say, for example, the national certificate being offered and provided by TESDA, that is an ASEAN recognized certificate, right? So meaning, because of the qualifications, because of the competency standards that are aligned with the ASEAN standards, someone, say, for example, from Indonesia will recognize that national certificate. So yes, there is a recognition, but for you to actually be competitive, that is a trick question, because to be honest, there is a lot of people on paper that are competitive, right? They have the certificate, they have the diploma, they have all of these certifications. But in reality, the question is, can they be competitive in the demands, in the expectations, in the realities, right, of the industry? So that is the question. At the end of the day, no matter how many certifications, no matter how many diplomas that you have, if you cannot apply it in your work, in your job, in your career, in your profession, it's nothing. It's just paper, right? So thank you very much. I hope that helps, Thelma.
All right. Thank you, Miss Caholo. And here's one from Miss Jelly Fernandez. Good afternoon. For Mr. Martin Nichols, how do you describe flexibility in your programs in terms of schedule and delivery of classes? Considering that you are an international institution, how does your tuition fees compare with colleges and universities in the Philippines? So we got like two questions here, Mr. Nichols.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you, Gelly, for your question. I'll talk about the first question first in terms of flexibility. Everything that we do is actually recorded and online and accessible throughout the learning system. So every lecture that I do on a Sunday or a Saturday or an evening or whatever it might be, firstly, we try to schedule our lectures around times that people are available. So they're not usually during core working hours because people have jobs to do. And so we take that into consideration, but also we also record everything online as well. So everything is available to you. Also, we're available offline. Should you need any assistance, should you need any advice, we're always here for you. Yes, we are an international institution, and of course, we offer our courses globally. But also, our fees are very competitive globally, and they're certainly competitive within the ASEAN region. Also, to make them more competitive, we've made a number of scholarships available, 50% scholarships for our tuition fees in the Philippines. So overall, I'd say the answer is yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martin Nichols. All right, we have one here from Mr. Jethro Reyes Mangaliag. For Mr. Martin Aguilar, how important is the role of digitally driven media organizations in supporting hospitality and tourism 4.0? Mr. Aguilar?
Well, the role of digitally driven media organizations is very important because, of course, their insights into the industry. I always believe in collaboration, right? So it's never a one-sided thing. We always have to collaborate and work together with, of course, experts. Say, for example, digitally driven media organizations. They know the demands of the industry. They are in the industry, and so as, say, for example, academic institutions or professionals, it's very important that we collaborate, that we communicate and work together in certain projects so that we can align, right? So that we can learn together, collaborate, and basically grow together. Thank you, Jethro.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jethro Mangaliag. We have one more here from Dizon John Christopher. Please give me tips or advice or recommend on how to travel from one place to the other country locally. Plan to go to the place I desire. Thanks and God bless. Would like to, to give a comment on that question or statement? Can we hear from Mr. Aguilar, maybe? Yeah.
Sure.
Pick 'em up.
Okay. All right. So, John, advice on how to travel. Is this for leisure or is this for career or profession? Because for leisure, unfortunately, right now with the COVID restrictions in place, it's very difficult to travel. Although you just really need to keep your ears and eyes on the ground. There are a lot of countries that are opening up, right? Say for example you are fully vaccinated, there's a lot of countries already who are opening up their borders, their international borders, to welcome guests once again. So it's just really a matter of looking where you want to go and what you want to do. But if you're talking about profession, you just really have to be globally competitive. Imagine you're from a city, I don't know where you are from Marilao, right? You're from Marilao. How can you be more competitive versus your classmates, versus the schools and students in your area in Marilao, versus the people in your region, right? The would-be tourism professionals in your region versus the whole of Philippines. And we're just talking about the Philippines. Imagine you're going to be competing with other countries who have hospitality and tourism students as well, right? And so it's just really a matter of being competitive. As mentioned earlier, you need to stand out, and I believe that it's never just about your nationality, your skin color, the way you look, your diploma. All of those are facets, but they are very important factors because as a whole it's just a matter of your determination, your willingness to adapt, to evolve, and really it's about reaching out for your dream and your goals. And if you can do that, nothing will stop you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Yes, thank you for that. We have one from Gabriel Manrique for Mr. Martin Nichols. How do your undergraduate students do their internship? Do you have any special programs for them to have an industry experience virtually, Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thanks, Gabriel. Look, I think one of the things we're trying to do with our programs is give people real experience of our experience of the real world. And that's why we use experienced practitioners in what we do. Now, obviously, it's very difficult from a learning perspective, from an academic perspective, to put someone in the reality of a hotel reception or whatever it might be. But we do support all of our education by practical experience from our own rights. So we try to share that as far as we go. And of course, what we're doing as part of all of our education is preparing people for those internships, preparing people for their work experience. And so by sharing our experience, we seek to do that, and obviously work with employers as much as we can after that to get them out into the outside world. And that's where people like Ralph, who was on this call, come in to help us as well, and John.
All right. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Nichols. From PJ Jaina Villarente Velasco. Good afternoon. For Mr. Aguilar, what is your opinion about virtual internship, especially for students in the hospitality industry, in which hands-on activities or industry immersion is a must? Mr. Aguilar?
Okay, thank you, PJ, for that question. I really think it's going to be a challenge because there's a lot of competencies that are needed to be done actual, right? So there is a challenge when it comes to actual operations because what's happening in the operations is sometimes different from what we learn in the classroom or in your textbooks in that matter, right? So it's really going to be a challenge, but as with the technology right now that we have, it is possible. I mean, there's nothing much we can do. This is the way to go right now. This is the cards that we are dealt with, and so we really just have to play well in order to survive, right? But that's not the case. Surviving is not our end goal. It should be to thrive, right? So we want to do, and as much as possible, do our best in order for our students not to lose anything. And so that's actually what we're going to be implementing here in Palawan as well. We're going to be partnering up with resorts who are underutilized. We have hundreds and hundreds of rooms here that are underutilized because of the closing of the borders. And so we're looking forward in working together with the hotels and resorts so that we can still have the virtual internship programs possible. Yeah, good luck, PJ.
Thank you very much, PJ, and thank you so much